Alright, hey, what's up, YouTube? My name is Greg, and this is my very first PC build. That's the only thing that's important about it is the fact that it's mine. I don't have any high-end super graphics and all that stuff going in it. This is just to get me started. So what I wanted to show out first, which what really got me excited, is this case right here, the Crosshair Graphite T80. And it comes with a push to start button right here. You'll probably be able to see it in later shots. There's a restart button. There is a USB 3.0, and I'm not sure if this can be boosted by the Asus 3.1 technology. It goes by like 10 gigabits a second. There's the regular 2.1s, maybe 2.0, and then there's a fan controller right here. I don't see myself using the fan controller too much, so I'll probably just leave it up to the motherboard to decide what to do with the fans. But so far, I'm really excited about getting this case. I got it for a good price. And yeah, so moving on. What I got right here is the side panel. And pop that off for you. I'll angle it so you guys can see it a little bit better. This is my clear side panel. It looks really cool, and it's like, you got a handle that you just lift. I'm not gonna try too hard and break it. But you just got a handle that you can just lift, and you can adjust that and whatnot. And this is the inside of my case. So I'm gonna lift it up. This is the inside of the case. You got, to the side right here. You got the hard drive bays right here, 1 and 2. You can actually remove one of these if you want better airflow, but from what I've seen, I don't think it really matters to me that much, because the guy stuffed the teddy bear, probably like 3 teddy bears, a shirt, and a couple of boxes in there. And the temperature did not change for like 10 minutes. And when they finally did, they went up like 10 degrees. So the next thing on this case, I guess I can show you the back. It's got a lot of this, space right here for graphics cards, capture cards, sound cards, whatever you want to expand. And my motherboard does give me the option to do that. I'll talk more about the motherboard later. The other thing I have is water cooling capabilities. So I can either put fans here, which I find is useless since I don't have that high-tech stuff going in here to be overheating too much. But you can put fans and radiators here. So it's got a lot of space for that. It's a huge case. The T80 Graphite series is really nice from Corsair. I really like the case. Got me foaming out of the mouth. You got a little fan back here. I don't know if you guys can see me spin it and whatnot. And these are a couple of wires. I can see like a 3.0 wire right here. A couple of fan headers, and obviously the restart and the on button is gonna be on here somewhere. Here's one for the regular USBs. And there's a couple of these I don't even know what they're for yet. So we'll figure that out when I'm building. On this side, what we have is another panel that you can just pop open, just like the glass panel, but this one is just black, so you don't have that option. Being able to see through it, but you don't really want to be able to see through on this side. This is where all your cable management is gonna go. So you can slip the wires through the back here, and you kind of hide them and try to make your system look neat. Here's some rubber grommets if you want the water cool. So I'll probably be going with hard tubing, because I think hard tubing looks so much better. And there's like 3 little SSD trays here that look really cool, and I'm excited to put my first SSD in there. Anyways, don't have a lot of those, but they've gotten cheaper over the years, so I'm happy about that. And I believe this is the case. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. At the front of the case, you got a nice little Corsair badge down here. You might be able to see it later in the glam shots, or whatever you want. And you can pop this side open. It's more space for radiators, and this one already comes with 2 fans. And within these fans, I think there is a red LED. I'm not quite sure. I think this whole thing lights up red. I can add more later, but for the moment, it's budget build, so they go crazy on the case, but I like nice looking things. But yeah, really happy about it. And this is my case. Alright, YouTube, you're gonna watch me put in my first power supply ever. I've never put in a power supply before, so So far, I think it goes in this way. It's got a little fan at the bottom. What I forgot to show you guys last time was that this case actually has a nice little filter underneath. I think there's one on the back side too. This is like the front half. And this is the second half of it. And something came out. Don't worry about it. We'll be alright. These are parts I'm going to need later, probably. It must have fell in the case. Anyways, it's got radiator areas over here too. So when you do want to put a radiator at the bottom, you can do that. So we're going to go ahead and leave these out for now, just for the save that video memory. Anyways, turn this case back around. It's got a nice little rubberized feet, so that's why I'm always struggling when I'm trying to push it back in. So power supply goes yay. Have the fan facing down towards the vents where the air filters that I just took out came out of. And this, I'll slide this in without trying to make power supply on by accident. But yeah, you slide it in. You just throw these cables here. Continue to slide it in. Hear that very satisfying click or clang. I'm not racist. I did not say yang. Anyways, you guys can see that just fine. Anyways, yeah. So I'm going to. Actually, I should probably move this back a little bit more. You guys won't see me screwing at anything. That's good enough. So I'm going to now open this little packet of screws. Oh no.
2 hours later.
Cool. All right, so I put the PSU in, power supply unit, you know, acronyms and whatnot. And I've already put in like 3 screws. I did this off screen mainly because I really was struggling to get this in. You had to kind of jimmy the PSU in there, hold it in. And I didn't want to have somebody else's hands in the shot, so I made sure I can get the hard screws in first, and then now I'm just gonna go in and continue to tighten it. I don't like that clink. But anyways, get these in. And then you guys came just in time for the last screw. Twitter name is G the Lubricator. Anyways, my PSU is in. On to the next one. Alright, so I'm back again, and this time I'm about to show you my motherboard, which is an awesome motherboard. It's got a couple of 3.0 ports, which is gonna go great with the case. It had a couple 3.0 slots in there too, right next to the fan control. It's a Z71A USB 3.1. I already said that. It's got 10 gigabits a second, which is pretty nice. Hopefully I can find hardware that make use of it. I feel like most of the stuff I have now probably won't make pretty good use of it right now. So I'm gonna look around, make sure I'm not forgetting to tell you anything. While I was looking up this motherboard, it said there's like a 1-click overclock. Basically, it just it'll see the fans that I have, and I'll just click it in the BIOS system, and it'll just overclock it to a good amount where my fans can actually keep up and keep the processor cool. And the expensive version of it was like 200 something bucks. They had a cooler that you can actually put next to the GPU, so it would read the heat of the GPU. It would read the heat of GPU, and I'll actually like throttle the fans depending on how hot it got there. It was a lot of customization, but I didn't really care about it. It's got its own sound card, Turbo LAN, whatever that means. And it's the LGA 1151 socket, so I really like it a lot. What comes in the case is the back I/O panel and whatnot. This is the driver. I don't have a optical drive, so this is completely useless. I'm just gonna download the newest drivers from their website for the motherboard, so I think that'll be all right. This is the SATA cables. It comes with about 3 of these. I don't know why they're in separate ones. I think it's because this one has like a angular type look to it, you know, like a snake kind of. And this is the one with this straight into, you know, hard drive look. This right here is the SLI bridge for you know, Crossfire and trying to get like two GPUs to work together to get better frame rates and better looking graphics. So this is that. This right here is, I'm guessing it's to plug into the motherboard, obviously, but it's got a ground reset and I think hard drive LEDs. So looking forward to figuring this out. It's also got the speaker stuff on this one too. This is a little case that goes for my GPU. So it's my GPU installation tool. So I'm gonna have to slap this on my GPU and plug it in. It comes with a manual and two really small screws. I'm hoping this is enough and this is all I need. And I don't need more, because if I do, I'll probably be screwed. And now you guys can actually see it slightly better. But yeah, this is my motherboard. If you want a closer look, there should be shots coming in to show you a closer look at the motherboard and pictures and all that. So this is, let me ground myself. I really don't want to mess up my new motherboard. Ground yourself, and if you're fancy, buy one of those wrist wraps or ankle wraps that you can wrap around yourself. I'm not that fancy. Whoa. Alright, cool. So it's got a couple of 3.0 ports here, DVI, VGA, if I'm saying it right, HDMI. I believe this one's an HDMI too, though it looks kind of different than me from here, so I might not be too sure. These are regular USB ports. This might be Thunderbolt, and a couple of plugs for your speakers, and this is optical, I believe. I don't even remember it. And that's my LAN, my turbo boosted LAN, whatever that means. It says NVIDIA SLI on the motherboard too, so I'm really looking forward to actually when I get two graphics cards and I get the power them together and get way better performance. So I'm supposed to put my OS drive plugged into this one. So yeah, let's get into the neck of things. Alright, so I'm supposed to install this right here. This right here is my processor. One with a Core i3, because it's hyper-threaded, it's got 2 cores, and Intel tends to be, you know, really good. You know, it doesn't run as hot as AMD. It's a pretty good one anyways. It's like 3.7 gigahertz. I'm reading it off the thing as I'm saying it right now, but sue me. So there's a little triangle here. I'm supposed to try to match it. Supposed to try to match it with another little edge right here on the motherboard. So the best thing to do is try not to force it in, to just let it slide right in. So if it's not falling straight in, then we have a problem. Alright YouTube, I am back. Let me just put my big head in frame for a second. So I was screwing up a lot, but what I found out is the motherboard came with a nice little encasing for the CPU. I don't know if it's whether it's necessary or not, but I had a little trouble trying to figure out how exactly the CPU went in. But since I figured it out, I put everything back together and about to just do it again. So going to put this here. Ground yourself every so often when you're doing this, guys. I'm not no professional, so you don't have to take my advice, but everybody says the same thing I say, which is why I'm saying it. So anyways, this little flap right here, you're just gonna close it. And what I wasn't doing was, you gotta just let it slide out and extend. That way it'll be closer. You can hear that click. I don't know if it's gonna keep clicking if you do that. Let me see. Anyway, it'll make some kind of noise. Just make sure that these little prongs are close to this. That way when you clip this down like so, it will not just pop out of place. So I'm just gonna push this to the side and back under, and this comes right off. And my CPU has been properly placed. Now I placed my CPU. I know it's just a stock fan, but I'm broke and I don't want to go out and buy another fan right now. Though my case can handle some pretty big fans, I got this sucker. It looks like a quad rotor. So came with the CPU. It's what I got right now, and I really want to boot it up because I'm trying to play the Division before I go into work tonight. It's got a little bit of thermal pasting already on it. I was a little scared. I thought I'd have to go out and buy one, the children delay me even further. So basically, all you do is put it right here, and possibly just clip these in. All right, so you just clip them in. Here we go. We can clip that in. Sounds a little scary, but yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare when I have to take this thing back out again. No, I'm probably gonna raise the motherboard a little bit just to make sure I'm getting it all the way through. Feels like it. Definitely feels like it. So you hear that clip, you should be good. And you can look underneath the motherboard if you want. See those little sexy pins in their heads. They're all out there. Oh wait, here we go. You might not be able to see it probably, but these little white knobs, and they're actually going through the bottom of the motherboard. And just make sure you don't overdo it. You don't want to break your motherboard. That's why I'm extremely careful right now. Anti-static paper, and yeah. So my motherboard is more or less put together. You gotta wait for my RAM to come in, but as soon as it comes in, put that sucker right in. Alright, so my motherboard is actually set, and I am now ready to insert it inside of my case. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Alright, so I brought the back I/O panel. This should have been the first thing I installed, but whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already seen this. The video should be around like 15 minutes long anyway, so I'm just gonna pop this in. It's supposed to slide in properly, so on the inside. And we're back. Oh, probably never left for you guys anyways. Probably edit that out. Anyways, so here's the motherboard. I got a couple of grommets on there. I really don't want to fuck up my board, because that would be sad. I'm going to line this board up right now as best as I can with the little holes that they put on there. I know for a fact this I/O panel couldn't have gone in later. Right now I'm just going to try to line up everything properly. I/O panel's getting in the way and it's really aggravating me, so far, let's take a couple of these rings out. Don't want to lose them in the case. Okay, my head's not getting in the way. Hi, YouTube. Alright, now let's force this sucker in there. That's what she said. How does this go? So, I'll just force my way in. Looks about right. It's like I'm supposed to force my way in. Take it from the other side. And yeah, so after a little bit of readjusting, I was finally able to get that back I/O panel. It's a good thing I struggled with that a little bit, because then it kind of reminded me of where I can put these screws. Because due to the idiot that had this case before me, and I just threw that one in there. I am awesome. We're not gonna worry about that right now. At some point when I put the case back up, right, it'll slide out. Actually, I found it. I'll just pick it up after I'm done screwing this one in. So, due to the idiot that had this before me, there's these little grommets that go underneath the screws to make sure you don't, screw the motherboard, or the motherboard gets placed in properly. Because of the idiot who didn't put the screws or these little grommets back in properly, I now have to deal with a motherboard. It's supposed to have 9 of these little grommets, but instead, it only has 6. So now I gotta think and decide where I'm going to position each and one of these grommets to secure this motherboard the best. I'm not too satisfied with this since this is my first build, but the panel is easy to open, so maybe later I can easily just set the whole computer on the side again. And life will be good. This one isn't screwing there for some reason. Oh, the long screws go in here. Okay, I get it. Alright, I get it. So that's one less screw I have to worry about. This thing had like a little metal pin that comes up out of the bottom of the case to actually secure the motherboard in place also. So screwing everything, make sure it's not too tight so you don't crack your expensive motherboard. Might not be expensive for you guys, but this is expensive for me. So for those of you with the ROG Asus motherboards with overclocking capabilities and thing that goes in the optical drive to ensure you can overclock it. Check your fan speeds and pump speeds. Good for you. I can't afford that yet. So this motherboard, I'm planning for it to be with me for a while. Screw this one in. Try to take good care of it. This is my baby. You take good care of babies. Unless you're that one chick that killed her child to go to the club. That's terrible. Can't even remember her name. It's all good all the same. Kind of flubbed there a little bit. I flubbed, but it's in. Cool. This can support bigger motherboards, but I think I got a standard ATX size, which is all good. So I got this motherboard in. Feels pretty secure. It's not gonna crack or anything like that and screw it in too tight. That should be it for the motherboard installation. Alright, this is my PNY SSD. Kind of had a little brain freeze there. So here it is. I'm trying to do this as quick as I can anyways. My SSD. It didn't come with any screws, so I'm guessing I could probably just fit it in here with no screws, probably, maybe, possibly. Looks like a screwless entry. So as soon as I figure out how to slide this in, we can move on to the next part. I'm trying my hardest not to break this really plastic thing right here. It's really plastic. I don't think really plastic describes it. It's extremely plastic. So get that in. Place it into this little grommet type holes where everything fits in. And now my SSD is in. And that is the last hardware installation I can put right now. Alright, so I've already booted up the computer. I went through the BIOS system. I didn't bother putting that stuff in there mainly because it's probably gonna be a pain. So where you guys left off from what I did so far is I just did a little bit of cable management, shove a couple of these to the back, plugged in my SSD to the OS drive, and it boots pretty damn quick. Like after a few seconds of pushing the on button, it goes like immediately on to like the login screen, which is pretty awesome. I love SSDs now. And there's one thing I forgot to do, and probably since I have it open now, I'll probably do it later. There's like little lights here, my CPUs, and I plugged in the power cable for my GPU over here. I'm hoping my head's not in the way. And you guys can't see too much of it anyways. But yeah, a lot of cable management, but my USB 3.0 cables from underneath, my power plugs and LEDs and all that good stuff. And this is actually my build. It's done. What I didn't show you guys was the RAM. It doesn't have anything special about it. It just looks like a circuit board. I didn't buy those fancy looking ones like G.Skill or whatnot. But this is like a DDR4 RAM. And I've been enjoying it pretty recently. Nothing's been slow on the computer. I know I just got it, but it's working pretty good. So I guess that's it for my build log, or sorta. Maybe next time I'll have more equipment to go into more detail, but as of right now, this is it. I'm pretty happy. I'll probably add more hard drives later. I don't think I'll ever add an optical drive. So, deuces, catch y'all later.